Welcome back to Beyond the Stats. We got Roman here again to discuss some football. We're going to be going over week 7 games individually and then kind of hit on some talk that's been going on throughout the week as well in the NFL.
Yeah. You want to kind of start out with last night's game?
Yeah. Um, Technically, it'll be Thursday. We're recording this Friday night, but
Yeah. Thursday night's game.
Thursday night's game. Jaguars have been interesting to me this year because I thought their offense was going to be a lot better. I feel like they've been kind of disappointing. Obviously, they put up 31 points, but their defense has been very good.
Their defense has been awesome. Their line worries me, and Trevor Lawrence is already injured.
Yeah.
That's kind of been the issue. Their tackles are the only tackle they had that was halfway decent. They let walk, and Kansas City signed him for $19 million a year, and he's playing average over there,
Right.
not helping him.
Right.
But they should have actually, that game should have gone to overtime. Did you watch it?
I didn't finish it. I watched most of it and then watched Jazz game.
So, I mean, Derek Carr, think what you want. Dude tries hard, loves his teammates. He was driving down final right before the 2-minute warning. They had a couple of big plays, had a nice 25-yard corner out to Taysom Hill. They ran a draw play to Kamara, and he got about 15, 20 yards. And then the coaches decided to sub Kamara out 2 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock.
Makes sense.
While they're running no huddle. And Jamal Williams comes in, and you can see, because they couldn't get lined up in time, Derek Carr walked off the field, and he's like, why are we effing subbing? Furious. Continues to lead his team down. 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah.
Throws a corner out to Foster Moreau. Hits him square in the hands. Corner and safety came up on the short route.
Right.
Wide open in the corner of the end zone. Derek Carr gave him plenty of room. He dropped a wide open touchdown.
I actually did hear about that. I didn't realize that was that play.
24 seconds left on the clock.
Jeez.
That is the game. That is the play that makes the game right there. And their starting tight end's been out the last couple of weeks. Juwan Johnson, former receiver, converted tight end, really coming on strong this year. Came on strong the end of last year, and they missed him. And Derek Carr needed that guy last night. Their offense looked terrible all game for New Orleans until the last quarter, basically.
Jamal Williams has been super disappointing there this year. Which, to be fair, last year, it's not like he really put up good actual running statistics. He just got a bunch of 1-yard carry touchdowns.
He got a lot of touchdowns. And Jamal Williams, I mean, from everything that I've seen and heard, great teammate,
seems like an awesome dude.
Cool dude.
Yeah. But
yeah, hasn't put up great numbers this year, didn't put up great numbers last year other than the touchdowns. And he's kind of just doing the same thing in New Orleans. But
yeah.
They finally got Kamara back. They need just to find consistency. You could see at points in the game, their offense looked good late in the fourth quarter. Whatever they did late in the fourth quarter, do it the rest of the season.
Right. And I'll tell you what, fantasy football fans who have Kamara, who've been sitting on him, they're happy that Derek Carr's in New Orleans because
12 catches.
Derek Carr just loves to dump to his running backs.
Well, and I have the Saints tight end, Juwan Johnson. He's good when he plays. I picked up Taysom Hill an hour before the game. He had 7 catches for 50 yards and had a rushing touchdown. 15 points. I'll take it all day. I mean, I don't trust Taysom Hill when Juwan Johnson's there, but when Juwan Johnson's out, Taysom Hill's a great play because of the rush option, the occasional pass, and he'll catch 4 or 5 passes every single game.
Yeah. So moving into Sunday, the early games, we got Lions, Ravens. I think the Lions take that game even without David Montgomery.
Yeah. I mean, Gibbs off the injury report today,
which is important.
Limited practice all week, but he's going to be playing. That's huge with Montgomery out. I don't know what's going on with the Ravens this year.
Their offense has been really inconsistent. Their defense has been dominant.
Yeah.
They're ranked 2nd in the passing game and 4th in rushing game or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're still throwing in some quarterback runs. I know they want to be a spread team, and they went and signed Beckham. They got Rashad Bateman. They They have a couple of the guys they've always had, Mark Andrews, Gervais. I mean, they should be better.
Yeah, I mean they're what 4-2, so record-wise,
They're not a bad
but
team.
they're not. Their offense has not really clicked at all.
No, it's
this
just
season.
It's clunky, and I think that the Lions go in. I mean, the Lions are a great matchup for Baltimore. I mean, they are a physical team up front.
Yeah,
and I think that Baltimore is going to struggle with that physicality.
That's what I want to see out of this game is how with Baltimore's rush defense, it's very spread out on who's performing. No one's really standing out. It's just
which
very
is always the Baltimore way.
Yes, I'm curious to see how that holds up against a very good offense in the Detroit Lions and a very good offensive line.
Yes, they have a phenomenal line. And I think even without Montgomery, I don't think Gibbs is going to put up phenomenal stats. I think you're going to end up with a Jared Goff game where he's right around 300 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Get a touchdown from one of the running backs, short yardage, and you're going to end up with a 28-21 type game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be tight either way. But I have the Lions pulling that one out. I just don't trust the Ravens offense at all.
No, I can't trust them right now. And the Lions are hot. I mean, they're a tough team. Their offensive coordinator is going to be a head coach next year. This is their chance.
Right. And then going from probably a very exciting game to a really rough game, Raiders-Bears.
Is anyone watching?
So Garoppolo's hurt. They're starting Brian Hoyer, who's like 50. Justin Fields isn't playing.
No, but I love Badgett, their undrafted rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
And it's not like the Bears have been not a mess already this season.
With Fields, yeah.
So, man.
Oh, that's a snooze. I mean, I really want to know how many people end up watching the Bears Raiders. I think the Raiders win.
I think so too. The Bears team's just so bad from coaching staff to players.
I think Eberflus is going to get fired. He's going to be a one and done.
So even with Brian Hoyer, I mean, they I don't know. I can't take the Bears on that just abysmal game. Either way, it's going to suck.
Yeah, it's not going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be ugly. Raiders probably pull it out though.
Yeah.
The only reason I would watch that game is to watch Tyler Badgett, the undrafted quarterback. The dude's tough. He's athletic. I mean, young quarterback. He'll go out and give his all. He's kind of like a rookie year Baker Mayfield, but more athletic.
Okay.
So it might be a fun game to watch just to kind of see how he does. It's entirely possible the game's too big for him and he throws 3 interceptions and fumbles twice. But
yeah,
that's the only thing that will keep that game entertaining. Max Crosby might get 4 sacks.
Yeah, you got to find the little things in that. So not much to talk about on that one, but Browns-Colts.
I think that this is another boring game.
I think so too. And I think a big reason is, honestly, the Browns defense is really good. Like they're dominant right now.
How big of a disappointment is that offense though?
Yeah.
You pay the money.
But Deshaun Watson's not even, I don't even think he's playing this week.
I don't think he is either, but the offense has been better without him.
That's fair.
I mean, they paid the big money for Deshaun, gave him all that guaranteed money. They paid the big money for Amari Cooper. They've got a good offensive line, and I mean, their offense sucks when Deshaun Watson's there.
I'm curious how much losing Nick Chubb has affected that.
That is a huge piece.
Jerome Ford, even though he had a good game last week, throughout the season he has a really bad yards per carry.
Yeah.
And Kareem Hunt's also not playing this week. And so they're really struggling on that side of it as well. I'm curious how much that's really affecting them. I thought Nick Chubb was going to have a huge season.
I thought he was too, and I thought Deshaun Watson was going to have a nice season. But, I mean, I've
He's not
seen.
going to enough massage
I
parlors, I guess.
I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore. But the thing is like I don't even think Deshaun Watson, from some of the reports I've seen, he's healthy enough to play. He is healthy enough from some reports.
Really? I guess he had a full day of practice, a couple of days of practice, I believe, this week.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't. There's dysfunction going on in that Cleveland team. I think that the Colts, with Gardner Minshew, if they can hold that D line out, I think the Colts could win.
Yeah.
And it'll surprise some teams. You'll get the Minshew mania coming back, but I don't think it's going to be a huge win. I think that it's going to be like one of those 23-21 type games. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Colts beat the Browns tomorrow. And the Browns season's starting to look like another wasted season with Deshaun Watson make the $150 million guaranteed or $200 million guaranteed or whatever it was.
Yeah. We know about bad contracts with quarterbacks not performing.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I do. The one thing I really am curious about that game is to see the split between JT and Zach Moss. Zach Moss has been really good so far this season.
He has, and they've kind of started to work Jonathan Taylor in. I always want to say Jason Taylor, Dolphins fan.
Yep.
But if you watched last week a little bit, Zach Moss, bad receiver.
Yeah.
Or not a great receiver. Jonathan Taylor had 4 catches last week, or 5 catches.
Right.
So even though he only had 10 carries, it looks like they're trying to get him more involved in the passing game to where he's only getting that 15 carry mark and he's going to get 4 or 5 catches, which
either way, they just paid him, so they have to put him on the field.
He's got to be on the field, but I mean, with the way that Zach Moss is playing, once they get in a rhythm, that's a nice 1-2 punch.
For sure. So, man, these morning games, these early games are bad.
Might be sleeping in.
The Bills-Patriots, the Patriots just suck so bad. That's a team that's going to be looking for a quarterback.
They're going to be looking for a quarterback. I think. Do you think Mac Jones is benched at halftime?
I wouldn't be surprised. Here's some talk that I've kind of heard and stuff like that I've been thinking about. Is it time for the Patriots to move on from Bill Belichick?
I've seen that. And maybe. But here's another question. Do you move on from Belichick completely, or do you simplify his role? He's the GM.
Right.
He's GM and head coach, always has been. Do you take him away from one? I would take him away from being a GM.
Mm-hmm.
Early in his career, best GM in football and best coach. Drafts have not been good lately in New England.
No.
They have missed on the last couple drafts.
So here's my only thing on why I'd be very intrigued with just kind of fully moving on with him is, let's say they do end up going and drafting a quarterback first round. Just clean that out. New quarterback, new system, new everything. Just a chance to make it their own and see what they can do in New England instead of how long do you hold on to Bill Belichick?
Who do you bring in?
The
Matt Eberflus when Chicago fires him.
The freaking Lions offense coordinator that you just mentioned.
He's Ben Johnson's got a great opportunity. It would be a tempting take. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Bill Belichick has the opportunity to tie the all-time loss record by a head coach this year.
Interesting.
I mean, Belichick's getting up there in age, but
that's what I'm saying, man. I don't know. It might be, in Patriots fans, here's what you guys think, but it might be time to start the next era of New England.
It might be time. I mean,
hey, Vance Joseph's probably going to need a job soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation that's got to come up. New England's been bad for a couple of years now, and at the very least, Bill Belichick's got to be moved and just dedicate to one thing
for sure
at this point in his career.
And and maybe bring in offensive coordinators to coach the offense with the new quarterback.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't bring in a linebacker coach to be your offense coordinator, or a special teams coach to be your offense coordinator, or
That
the
might help.
guy that bags your groceries, but he does it perfectly to be your offense coordinator.
Like, man, you really know how to put some milk in a bag.
So DeMeco Ryans was his D coordinator before he got the Texans job?
Yeah.
Or he was part of that staff? Was it DeMeco?
Oh,
No, DeMeco
that
Ryans.
sounds wrong.
DeMeco Ryans was in New England. They had another, I think it was Mayo. Gerard Mayo, former linebacker.
Oh, okay.
He's partial D coordinator. Do you promote Baby Belichick, who's the D coordinator there? Continue the lineage.
Oh, I don't know. Because how much control has he had over the defense? That's another question, right?
How much control does anybody have in New England?
And that's why I'd almost consider just a full reset.
Maybe
I think a lot of it depends on the relationship there with him and the organization and things like that.
Him and Kraft have been together for 30 years now.
Yeah.
So 25 years.
So
it's going to be a hard conversation. Maybe Eric Bieniemy finally gets his shot.
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens as the Patriots continue to suck.
Yeah. They're going to be bad.
And then our final game, early morning game, we got the Commanders against the Giants.
Another exciting game.
Yeah.
Saquon's
playing. Saquon's playing. He's healthy.
He said he doesn't want out of New York anymore. He's here to stay.
Yeah, I saw that came out yesterday, I believe.
Yep.
So
35 with the Commanders. 35 points on that terrible Giants defense.
Yeah, Sam Howell's getting more and more comfortable.
Sam Howell's good. They got a great receiving. They have a good offense.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's leading the charge. Obviously, he's still young. He's going to make mistakes. They got Scary Terry. They've got Dotson that they drafted last year. They have Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel is a really good slot guy,
running back. And then they have the running back committee of Johnson and
Gibson,
Robinson and Gibson.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I would like to see Brian Robinson get a little bit more of a workload to see what he really can do. I think he's a really good player and just really hasn't had a great opportunity so far this season.
So one thing I would like to see, and I don't think they've done it in Miami. Miami throws out those two back lineups.
Yeah.
Why do you not have Robinson and Gibson on the field at the same time and those three receivers? Because they don't have a great tight end. Logan Thomas is serviceable.
Yeah.
But you put both of those guys in the backfield. Gibson played receiver at Memphis.
Right.
So even though he's a running back, he can go out for any pattern. You still have the threat of running with either of them. You got great speed on the field everywhere.
True.
They could spread teams out, but it's an offense that has some real talent, and they have a good defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like what Sam Howell's starting to do there, and you can tell he's getting more and more comfortable. So,
yeah. Tyrod Taylor and the Giants.
There's a few stinkers out there right now.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough game. I love their young slot receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Slayton's a burner. They have Darren Waller at tight end. Nobody remembers that because he hasn't done anything this year.
He's been average at best, but he's playing for the Giants.
I mean, they have a couple of pieces. I think eventually they'll start to put things together, but I think that Washington just shellacks them. Yeah. Beats them by 2 touchdowns.
I would agree. 100%. 100%. And then, I guess there is one more morning game. Falcons Buccaneers. I've been really disappointed with Desmond Ridder this year.
Have you?
So I guess I'm disappointed with his turnovers.
It's fair.
He's a guy that I felt like would be able to come in and control the game really well and not make a lot of the bigger mistakes that you see from young quarterbacks. And he has seemed to just – there's times where he just puts the ball into awful positions and just gets very pick happy.
He's thrown for 300 yards plus last 2 games. Early in the season, he struggled.
Yeah.
Who does he have to throw the ball to, though?
Dude, he's got Drake London.
And Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, the greatest tight end in the league.
The greatest tight end prospect ever coming out. I get it. But, Matt Collins is their number 2.
Yeah.
Matt Collins is a special teams guy.
Right.
Great team guy. Solid 4th, 5th option. Not a number 2.
Right.
All defenses have to do is line up, stop the run, put 2 guys on.
Which at the same time, though, they're not feeding Bijan.
They're not feeding Bijan.
I think he had like 13 carries last week, and he's getting less carries consistently over at least the past few weeks than Tyler Allgeier's getting.
Well, and Allgeier's not getting many carries either. He's getting like 12.
So
and he had
maybe throw a little bit less.
Allgeier had 7 2 weeks ago. I'm like, Tyler Allgeier ran for 1,000 yards as a rookie.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing because
I'm not a fan of their coach.
No.
Not a huge fan of his. Maybe he's going to turn it around. They're a young team. All of their best players are within their first 3 years.
That's true.
So,
need to figure out how to feed their stud running backs.
They need to learn how to feed those running backs. Another team.
Because I think that would help Desmond Ridder a lot.
Another team that could throw out 2 running back sets with a split back because Bijan is a great receiver. So, Allgeier's a 225-pound bowling ball, but I'm sure he could throw a block if he decided to do it.
Right. So yeah, I'm curious to see as Desmond Ridder. Hopefully, he can kind of if he can take the turnovers down. I'd be happy. He's somebody I liked coming out of college.
I loved him coming out of Cincinnati.
That dude knows how to freaking win.
Yeah,
that's the thing. He that dude knows how to win, and so
and he's a great character guy.
Yep, 100%.
He's not a bad passer. He's not a superstar, and that's okay. You put superstars around him.
Yep.
And they've got to figure it out. They're a young team. Their coach is young. Their star players are all young.
He's definitely not one of those guys that you give up on yet.
No, not yet. Give him another year or 2.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta is going to be much better over the next couple of years.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Baker so far with the Bucs?
Pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Baker's had a great season. I think he's really found a place for him in Tampa Bay.
I would agree.
I think that it's kind of become home for him. He's got a great group of receivers down there.
Yeah, an incredible top 2 for sure.
Yeah, offense fits him well, so it's worked well for him. I think that he's in a good spot down there, and I don't see the Buccaneers as being a team that are going to win 12 games.
Right, yeah.
I think they're a team that gets wild card.
Yeah, sneak in there.
Yeah.
And then at that point, who knows what that offense is able to do.
Right.
But we can move on to the evening games or the afternoon games. Another probably blowout. Steelers-Rams. Is Deontay Johnson healthy?
Does it matter?
No. I'm trying to find something here, man.
George Pickens healthy?
He might catch 2 catches for 60 yards. I don't know.
Is he going to catch the easy ones?
No.
He just does the one hand.
You just throw it up to him when he's triple teamed and you'll get a catch. That's when you throw him the ball.
Yeah, they're an interesting team.
And freaking Najee Harris sucks.
Dude.
That guy. I guess he doesn't suck, but he's not good.
Well, and their line's not good.
Yeah, Najee Harris, man, it's been such a disappointment.
He looks like Derrick Henry now. And Derrick Henry's got 8 years in the NFL on him.
Yeah. I just want to know how long it takes them to just give Jalen Warren more and more time.
They need to get that guy some touches. He's a playmaker.
Yep.
And they just won't.
Yep. Rams. Obviously, Cooper Kupp's come back. Puka Nakua's calmed down a little bit. He's a little bit more back to earth. He's not getting 15 targets a game, but he's still getting like Cooper Kupp's played 2 games now.
Yeah.
He's still, I think, got right at about 10 both games.
Yeah.
So
and I think he'll continue to get 10.
Him and Cooper Kupp together make some serious firepower with that Rams offense, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kyren Williams is not healthy this week. Kyren Williams is not healthy. Dude, they've got like, who the heck is it playing running back for them this week? He's a rookie.
Yeah, I remember his name. I forget his name. Zamir. I don't remember.
But he
doesn't matter though.
No.
Their running game has not been good for 4 years now.
Right.
When was the last time they had a good running back? Even when they went to the Super Bowl, they weren't. They were efficient. They weren't a good running team.
Right. It was a lot relied on their defense and on Stafford and Kupp.
Yeah, all of it on Stafford and Kupp.
So now that you have Puka next to Kupp.
Kupp took home the Triple Crown that year.
It's true. So that's a team that intrigues me as the season goes on in playoffs wise because of that duo at receiver now.
Yeah.
If Kyren Williams is able to continue to get better, they could be dangerous.
Yeah, and Kyren Williams is very solid. I liked him coming out of Notre Dame. He just, I don't think their line's very good. And I worry about playing Pittsburgh, TJ.
Yeah.
And that pass rush in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's true. Matt Stafford's not really moving a whole lot.
Right now. He's not moving a lot these days. He's getting old.
Mm-hmm.
I worry it could be a blowout. If Matt Stafford is protected,
they're going to put up 40
They
points.
will put up 40. If TJ Watt and Highsmith, I think, on the other side, if they start getting pressure,
yeah,
I think you're going to have a close game.
Yeah. I'd be intrigued. I personally would be shocked if the Rams don't kill him. But you never know.
So there was a big deal about Aaron Donald retiring.
Yeah.
How's he doing this year?
I haven't really heard.
I haven't heard his name this year. I think I turned on the Rams game a couple weeks ago and watched a quarter or two, and I never saw I mean, I get it. He's a D tackle. Splash plays aren't going to happen all the time. I don't think he had a sack or maybe one pressure.
Right.
He's just, I mean, I'm sure he's still doing things well, but he's not doing it at the pace he was doing.
And that's the thing is their defense is going to be the question mark on that team on what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, you slow down Aaron Donald, that defense is not very good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I that's hard to not argue against. So. And then let's move on to the Cardinals Seahawks. Cardinals organization is weird right now.
That is you want to talk dumpster fire. They might be I don't know. Dobbs keeps keeping them in games somehow.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, both their top receivers are questionable.
And Geno has not looked that good the past couple weeks.
No.
He has struggled the past couple weeks.
Yeah, so I think that might be a little bit more of an interesting game. It's at Seattle. 12th man effect is always going to help.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think that Arizona's got a decent defense, and I think that's another game that comes down to the wire. Especially if Metcalf and the other receiver, their other number 2 receiver,
Tyler Lockett.
Yeah. Metcalf and Lockett are out. I mean,
or JSN finally explodes.
Or he explodes. Honestly, I picked him up in a FanDuel lineup because I expect him to have a big game.
Yeah.
The secondary in Arizona is not great, but they slow down Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see Geno Smith because he's really been struggling. You know, there was all this stuff about last year and stuff like that going into this season. You know, can he be the new quarterback of the future and stuff with them? And he's really starting to kind of play like we expected him to.
Yeah, a little bit. We'll see. It's early in the season. There's no reason for Geno to have regressed at all.
Yeah.
They added weapons for him. They didn't really make any changes on the offensive line. I don't remember them making any coaching staff changes.
Or was last year more of a
Flash in the pan.
yeah.
It could be. 1 year wonder.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I mean, it's a long season. They still have, I mean, they're what, 3-2?
Yeah.
Going up against the Cardinals, they could be 4-2. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the division over the Niners, but
No.
I think that they're a team. Geno figures it out halfway through the season and still makes a wild card.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. That's a big thing I think is going to come down to is what Geno Smith they get throughout the year. Do they get the last couple of weeks Geno Smith, or do they get last year?
Mm-hmm.
And so Broncos Packers.
Think you guys can get a win?
No, dude, no.
What?
Dude, so Packers are coming off a bye.
Okay.
Aaron Jones sounds to be healthy, and we're like the worst rush defense to ever exist.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty bad.
So,
But they have been not good at running the ball this year.
so the week 1 when Aaron Jones was healthy, Aaron Jones looked very good.
Bakhtiari also played.
Okay, but still.
Bakhtiari hasn't played since.
But still, I'm just saying you haven't had a chance to have a healthy Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon is not a number 1 guy. He's just not. He's good 1-2 punch, but just carrying the load, I don't think that helps him. Christian Watson's also healthy.
Christian Watson's healthy.
So you get Aaron Jones back, you get Christian Watson back, you get a bye week to get these guys all practice together. I think it's a recipe for the Packers offense to explode.
Well, and I think the Christian Watson is the biggest piece because prior to Christian Watson coming back, were you scared of anybody on that team?
1 or 2 big plays, maybe out of like Romeo Dobbs, but not, or Jaden Reed, but
well,
not really.
And that's the thing. Nobody's been scared of that offense. Granted, Jordan Love has been fine.
Yeah.
He also has the lowest completion percentage in the NFL.
Right.
He's doing great for a young quarterback, but he's not a really good quarterback yet.
Yeah.
So in that retrospect, I argue teams have not been afraid of the pass, and they just let their guys man up on the outside and stop the run.
But I think a big part of that too is because Romeo Dobbs he's a big play guy. Jaden Reed's a big play guy. Like they're not 10, 12 target guys that are being able to just consistently give you a guy as a quarterback to go to when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Christian Watson gives him that guy back.
He can, but my biggest thing that I was saying is that what kept AJ Dillon from being halfway decent? Because he had no running room. He had no running lanes.
Yeah.
And in the type of running back he is, you give him 1 or 2 yards, he's going to get 3 or 4 because of power. He's going to lean forward. He's going to get the extra yard. Aaron Jones, on the other hand, is that slasher. So you give him a little gap where AJ Dillon doesn't have the speed to make it.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones can. Aaron Jones may have been a little bit more effective, but I think you would have seen a lot of 1-2 yard runs out of Aaron Jones, and then a 30-yard run, and then 1-2 yard runs, and then a
That's fair.
20-yard run.
It just feels like with everything, it feels like a recipe for the Packers offense to get back on track. At least have a good outing.
I'm actually taking the Broncos this week.
Wow, that's.
I don't think this Packers team is very good. I think that Patrick Surtain, if he shows up and he locks up Christian Walker, those two have a battle.
So here's the problem with that. Our freaking defensive coordinator doesn't put Surtain on the number 1 receiver a whole lot. He just keeps him on one side of the field or in zone half the time.
Most of the time. He travels sometimes.
Every once in a while.
Even against Miami, he traveled with Tyreek a couple of times.
A little bit, yes.
I mean, he still got burned, but he traveled with him a little bit. So I don't think he necessarily needs to travel. I think it will be helpful, but I'm not scared of that Green Bay offense right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with that game. On a brighter note for the Broncos, I've been trying to think of good things to say about them, and it's just such a dumpster right now. But on a brighter note, Sertan came out this week talking about how he loves the city of Denver. He loves this organization, and he wants to spend his career in Denver.
And that's
And
huge.
that's huge, especially with what his dad said a few weeks ago. But also, the talk is around the league that the Denver Broncos have been very active in trade talks, and one player is but not been mentioned, and it's Sertan. He's basically the only player on the team who has not even been involved in trade talks at all.
Well, and I think if I'm Sertan, that means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one player that's not available. Obviously, right offer comes around. Even if he's not available, you take it.
If the right offer comes, you have to take it.
And it has to be a ridiculous offer.
I would agree.
But to know that you're the guy that they want to build around, I think that should mean a lot to him. His dad can say whatever shit he wants.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it matters what he thinks. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks outside of that. It matters on if he wants to be in Denver. And that I feel like that was a relief for almost the organization. That was a relief for a lot of fans, for him coming out and feeling like he needed to address it, to just kind of let everyone like sit back. You don't need to worry about me. Worry about the other stuff to fix this team and get me a good team to play on. But I'm here.
Yeah, and I wonder if his dad, a little bit of it plays into Sertain Sr. played with those Miami teams forever.
Yeah.
Made multiple All-Pros, Pro Bowls. He was a great corner, and we were a competitive team.
Yeah.
But we were never a championship caliber team, and he never got that opportunity, and he sees his son possibly going into a similar situation.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
that's fair.
You're not going to trade him to a team going to a Super Bowl anyway. So.
Nope. So we got 2 more Sunday games. The last afternoon game, we got Chargers-Chiefs. Justin Herbert. How you feeling on him this year so far?
He is who I thought he was.
That's fair.
I mean, I like Justin Herbert, big, strong-armed, athletic quarterback. He's a good teammate. I mean, he'll make the bad decisions, throws every once in a while, and you've seen it this year. How much of it falls back on Brandon Staley, though? Some of the decisions he's made have not been good. And they're talking for the last 3 years.
Right.
So, if the Chargers have another unsuccessful season, does Staley get fired?
I would put money on it that he would. It doesn't help for Justin Herbert that Mike Williams got hurt.
No.
Austin Eckler's been banged up. So I think Kellen Moore is a good fit for that offense. I like Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I expected more out of their offense, especially after week 1 against Miami.
Yeah.
You guys had the big shootout against each other. And that's kind of how I felt their offense had potential to be with Kellen Moore as there.
I think it still does. I think that the Mike Williams thing hurt a lot. Palmer's come in, done a great job. He's a great young receiver.
You know what might help is they play their rookie receiver that they were so high on and then have decided just...
He played some last week.
A little bit, but like once you lost Mike Williams...
Yeah, but Josh Palmer's a very good receiver. And he's been their third receiver.
Right.
The thing about Johnson is he's a big body dude coming out of Kentucky or TCU.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a couple of things he's got to figure out. A couple of the routes he's running, the angles are off where he's trying to play from the sidelines off, especially being that type of a receiver. He's got to build that chemistry a little more. I think he can be similar to what Mike Williams gives him.
Right.
I don't think he hits there until week 12.
Which is common for rookies.
Yeah.
That's common. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs win. I don't know. They're at Arrowhead. I think that's a big part of it.
They're at Arrowhead.
And they haven't played since Thursday night last week. So they've had a lot of time off. Historically, this team with Mahomes and Andy Reid are really good with extra time off.
And there's a legit chance this is the week Kansas City's offense shows up. Their offense hasn't been great this year.
Yeah.
They've had that week off. They have a new offense coordinator this year. They've been working through some things. Maybe that extra week off, they're able to get things figured out.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid take off.
Yeah. Either way, I see the Chiefs winning this game, even if they don't have a huge offensive explosion. There's a lot of question marks with the Chargers right now.
Yeah.
And then our final Sunday game, we got Sunday Night Football, your Dolphins at Philly.
I'm scared.
At Philly.
The biggest concern I have with this game is Philadelphia's D-line.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the D-line they do, I wouldn't be as worried.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miami, I'd be like, all right, we're going to go out. We're going to put up 40 points. We'll be fine. But their D-line is scary.
Yeah.
Carter has been a monster this year. Every team that passed on him in the draft made a mistake. And then they got, the big fella next to him from last year. I mean, Jordan Davis. They are tough. Their secondary is great.
That's how I feel like just that Philly team is built. They're a tough, hard-nosed team. And you've mentioned it in our last video that Miami struggles against quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah, we do. It'll be an interesting game. This has got to be the game. If this isn't the game of the week, which game are you picking? I mean, are you going to take freaking...
No, dude, there's so many... This might be like the only actual good game this week. This is a rough the Lions-Ravens.
Lions-Ravens is going to be a good game.
That might be the only other one that could be game of the week. But
Lions-Ravens, Chiefs-Chargers. I mean, morning is Lions-Ravens, afternoons, Chiefs-Chargers. There's a reason this game's Sunday Night Football. This game is going to be
It might need to be a heavy freaking weight showdown after a disappointing entire day of football.
And it should
for
be.
Fans.
If Miami's offense doesn't show up, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But I think with the speed we have, we might be able to keep them off balance. I'm hoping. We've got to contain Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have the rushing numbers this week. We're averaging like 170 yards a game rushing. Probably don't hit that this week, but if we can get 100 yards rushing and Tua keeps the ball clean, gets in Tyreek and Waddle's hands.
I think that's a big part. Tua's got to stay. Tua has to control this game.
And he's got to stay upright. The offensive line's got to continue to be a strength this week.
Yep, 100%. Do you think now you taking your Dolphins?
I am. But I think it's a close game. I think that this is a field goal finish.
I can see that. I can see that. With how explosive the Dolphins have been this season so far, you take away the one game with the Bills, it's hard to see a lot of people betting against the Dolphins.
And honestly,
until something else shows differently.
Well, and that's been the argument this week is Miami, everyone outside of Buffalo that we've played has been hot garbage. That's what a lot of the naysayers are saying. Every team that we beat has not been a good team. Buffalo's the only good team we've played, and that's why we got the crap kicked out of us.
The Broncos almost beat the Chiefs.
I mean, but this is a huge test. This is a playoff game.
Yeah.
This is a playoff matchup.
For sure. And this should be a game that really shows Miami where they need to be at if they want to actually push and win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting no matter how it shakes out. It'll be interesting to hear what all the pro pundits and what everyone has to say because if we lose, how many people do you think will come out next week and say, does Tua need to go?
Dude,
Is Miami
Miami's going to
done?
get ripped if they lose. Because it'll be that same argument. They can
Yeah.
only beat bad teams.
Yeah. And the Eagles are a great team.
Mm-hmm.
I
There's
mean,
no question.
won Super Bowl, so. Or
went
to the Super Bowl. Sorry. They went to the Super Bowl last year. So to say you got beat by the team that went to the Super Bowl last year is not a bad thing, especially when they brought everyone back.
Yep.
Except for their coordinators. So it's a great matchup. I think that Miami has a chance to take them and really put their stamp on the league.
Yeah, this is an important week for the Dolphins, I think, for not just for outside people looking at the Dolphins. I think as an organization, it's an important game for them to have the confidence that they can beat Super Bowl contenders, that they can truly win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and we're still missing multiple key pieces.
Mm-hmm.
We're still without Ramsey. We're still without Tron Armstead. We're still without a chain in the backfield.
Ramsey's practicing, though, right?
Ramsey's practicing. He's coming back.
Yeah. This could be a really good not turning point, but a good week for you guys confidence-wise.
Yeah.
Or it could be kind of a knocked back down and need to make some adjustments.
I mean, we've got a tough upcoming stretch. We got the Eagles. I think we have Kansas City in 2 weeks, in London.
Mm-hmm.
And so got a couple of tough games coming up for Miami. We've started off the season strong. This is about as good as I could have expected for us to start.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, if we end up 1-2 over the next 3 weeks and we're sitting at 6-3,
still 6-3,
still 6-3 in prime position for a playoff run.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Our final game of the week, we got the Niners Vikings. Niners have been explosive.
Have they scheduled a single good Monday Night Football game?
I haven't watched many, so probably not.
No,
I haven't found any good enough to like really want to sit down.
I haven't seen a single good Monday Night Football game this week.
Feel like every time they come on, every Monday night, I've been like, cool, Monday Night Football. I turn it on for a little bit, and I'm just like, this sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's been rough this year.
No Justin Jefferson. Vikings sucked already before that.
Yeah.
Oh man, this could be a bloodbath for the Niners. Brock Purdy might not play the second half.
Brock Purdy probably won't have to play the second half.
That's what I'm saying.
Might get a healthy dose of Sam Darnold, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this Vikings organization is going to have to figure it out. There's been a lot of trade talk about Kirk Cousins around the league. Does somebody else try and take him?
There's been a lot of frustration with Justin Jefferson before he got hurt. You can tell with his level that it has just seemed like they're not even trying to get good pieces around him.
Yeah, this Vikings team is not great, and I don't know. I think the Niners defense is going to eat them alive.
Yeah.
I don't know if their offense needs to play. They don't need Debo on Monday night.
No. This is like a good week if they had to have injuries to have those injuries.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead and sit Debo and McCaffrey. Let them rest for a week.
Yeah. No kidding.
It's not. You don't need them this week. It's fine.
No kidding.
This Vikings team is bad.
Yeah, this week overall, going through all the games, just feels like I could be proved wrong, but it feels like there's like 2 or 3 good games to actually watch this week. And beyond that, it is a rough week for football. Hopefully I'm proved wrong, and hopefully it's a really exciting week.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of games might surprise you. Like I said, I think that the Colts game versus Cleveland could surprise some people. I think that the Falcons-Buccaneers, depending on how things go, that could be an interesting game.
Steelers-Rams
could get interesting. Honestly, the Seahawks-Cardinals, who knows? That game could get interesting with how Cardinals have played in the second half this year. Like I said, I picked Denver, so that game could get interesting because Denver, I think, has a chance to win. And you don't have your draft pick anyway, so.
Yeah, we do.
You have your own this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I thought you traded all your draft picks forever for Russell Wilson.
I think this is like the 1 year we actually have.
I think you had a gypsy curse when you got Russell Wilson.
Dude, something freaking Drew Lock and Vic Fangio on their way out did something.
Yeah.
Got to go find the voodoo doll or something like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of games could get real interesting. For the most part, yeah, I think it's going to be a boring Sunday.
Yeah, so hopefully a couple of good games that we get some explosive plays. And
there's not going to be a need to change around to a bunch of games this week.
No.
Just watch one or two for morning and afternoon. You're good.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And now I know there was kind of some talk during the week that as we're getting closer to midway through the season, what are kind of some stuff that have intrigued you so far that you kind of wanted to be able to talk about?
A couple things that I wanted to bring up. Start with your Broncos news. Judy obviously hasn't played well. It's kind of been thrown out in some trade conversations. Former first-round pick. Several NFL executives are saying he's not worth the third rounder. Man, do you still trade him if you can only get a fourth?
Dude, I think he's almost like addition by subtraction. He has a shit attitude.
He does.
He had it last year.
Yeah.
It's not getting any better. I would almost at this point take what you can get. He is at his absolute freaking bottom of what you're ever going to get him for. But at this point, it might just be better as a team morale and a locker room standpoint to just get him off the team.
I think an interesting trade partner for this, and it's never going to happen. If I'm Kansas City, I call and offer you a fifth rounder.
Man.
I don't know if it would change things, but Kansas City's kind of been looking for another. They just traded for McCole Hardman back.
That's true.
I don't know if he would make an impact, but it would be an interesting thought. I'm one of those people that I'm like, hey, if anybody, you call around on any bad team just to see who's available.
Yeah, that almost feels like a Denver of like a no matter what no in that situation.
Because it's in division
and not to give him a chance to go all of a sudden decide he wants to be good and kick our ass.
Yeah.
But I do agree. He needs to go, and you just at this point you take what you can.
Would you be willing to trade him for Rondell Moore in Arizona?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Why not?
Moore at least gives you a playmaker. Obviously, he's had his struggles, but
I would
get rid of him.
Throw him in the slot.
I mean, hell, it'll give you some jet sweeps. It might give you some.
Give you something. I don't know.
Something. Return kicks and punts for something.
No, we got that guy.
You got Mims, but
we just don't worry about when he fumbled.
All right. What about another receiver that wants to be traded? So Terrace Marshall in Carolina, former second-round pick out of LSU.
Yeah,
he was a well thought of receiver coming out in the draft. He's taken by Carolina. Their quarterback situation has been terrible for several years now. He wants out. He wants a bigger role.
Which kind of shocks me that just immediately isn't trusting the fact that let Bryce Young grow up a little bit. That one honestly surprised me the most. Just because you've got a rookie quarterback who's got a lot of potential, but he needs to get there. And it's going to take time. I feel like that's a situation you'd be more willing to stick around in. I don't know.
Maybe it's a Jonathan Taylor thing. It's a power play. He wants a bigger role in the offense. He hasn't been getting it. He's saying trade me or give me more catches.
Right. That's true.
You know what? They traded away their number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So why isn't he a bigger part of the offense?
Right.
The only reason I can see is he just hasn't performed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he needs a change of scenery, but
We'll trade Jerry Jeudy for Terrence Marshall.
It's not a bad swap. I mean, they're first and second round picks. It's not a huge difference.
Like, listen, we'll give you our bust for your bust, and maybe it works out for both of us.
Miami did the same thing. We traded Noah Igbanane to the Dallas Cowboys for Kelvin Johnson, I think his name was. Igbanane was a first-round pick. Johnson was a second-round pick the next year. Neither of them had done anything for the teams. We just said, hey, we'll just swap and see if it's a better...
Give it a shot.
I mean, we don't lose anything. See if it's a better fit.
I like it.
Yeah.
Give Denver a call.
It's at least
there you go, Denver. We got your trade partner right now.
So, speaking of young quarterbacks, Kyler Murray's back practicing.
Yeah,
and they say he will see plenty of time this year.
Which, dude, I was like half convinced Arizona was just going to not even play him this year and just go get a new quarterback.
I wondered if they were going to sit him all year just to get a top 3 pick to ensure that they get the best non-quarterback.
Yeah.
Because that team's not good.
No.
They need more than just a quarterback. Kyler Murray, whatever his faults are, I assume they were sitting him all year just to make sure that he didn't have a setback. And then they could go draft the best non-quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, oh, he's going to see plenty of time. Are they doing this to try and trade Kyler Murray?
Dude,
after just signing him?
Yeah, I don't know. Arizona, kind of how we mentioned before, Arizona's a dumpster fire, man. I don't feel like they know what they're doing.
No.
At any point in the organization, I don't think they have any idea how to run a football team.
Yeah, fired Kingsbury. They brought in Jonathan Gannon, who's well respected in Philadelphia. But should they have gotten rid of Kyler instead of Kingsbury? I mean, Kingsbury, he knew when he traded Rosen to get Murray, he was hanging his career with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So was that a mistake? And should the New England Patriots bring in Cliff Kingsbury is Bill Belichick's replacement?
You know what's another interesting thought? Could the Patriots go after Kyler Murray instead?
I don't think he fits Bill's.
Well, that's saying you get rid of Bill Belichick.
You get rid of Bill Belichick, sure. Yeah. It's an interest. I mean, it could happen, especially if you get rid of Bill. I think if you keep Bill, he's not taking a quarterback that isn't similar to what he's always drafted.
Which is why they drafted Mac Jones.
Yeah. Who Drake May could be a similar quarterback.
Yeah. True.
But I think the biggest thing is what happens to Belichick.
Yeah.
Does he stay or do you get rid of him? And you get rid of him, all bets are off. No idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be that's something that we'll kind of have to keep tabs on with Arizona to really see what they end up doing with Kyler.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
See how he plays, if he does end up actually coming back and playing, how he plays, how the team reacts.
It'll be interesting because Kyler's always struggled late in the season.
That's a trick. You just don't play him until late in the season. So late in the season doesn't happen for him. He's not worn down.
Well, when's the next Call of Duty come out?
Dude, hopefully never. But
because every time one comes out,
he gets too busy playing that. Him and Ben Simmons hang out together and play some video games.
He's not watching film. There's a reason that film clause was put into his contract.
That's true.
And was leaked. So, I mean, it'll be interesting if Kyler plays, how much he plays, how well he plays this year. I don't know. I think that they're playing him. I think if they're playing him to try and gauge his trade value.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that for sure.
So, last thing I wanted to bring up, Did you see Davante Adams' interview this week?
Oh, they kind of talked about. I've heard a lot about him wanting a legacy.
Yeah, so he had an interview this week. He was talking about offense is struggling, and he knows he's the alpha. And I'm paraphrasing. And if he's more involved and the offense is going good, he knows the offense will go well. But if he's not involved and the offense is doing well, he's happy for the offense. It got taken out of context. There's been all these talks about how Adams only cares about legacy. Do you think he cares about legacy more than wins?
Honestly, no, I've never felt that way with Davante Adams. I don't know. To me, he never came off that way in Green Bay, and I truthfully, I just feel like it's more like they're just trying to find something to talk about in Oakland.
I mean, there hasn't been anything good to talk about in Oakland.
Yeah,
They traded away Carr. They went and got Garoppolo, and he's been. First, it was the foot thing where he couldn't pass his physical, and now he got the concussion. Now he's out again. I mean, typical Garoppolo stuff. So I think Adams, he'd made the comment when he was leaving Green Bay, he wanted to see if the grass was greener. And wanted to see how things were away from Aaron Rodgers because it was always about Aaron Rodgers. And I think he is finding out that he made a mistake.
Yeah.
He wishes he was still with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. No, that's it's pretty clear to see, with the way things have gone down in Oakland.
Yeah.
Or Las Vegas now.
Las Vegas in 2 years now. Bad team.
Yeah.
I think he might cut tail and try and get out of town.
I would not be surprised to see him leave at all.
Who's the contender that trades for him?
That trades for him?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly,
the two biggest for me, I immediately go Chargers Chiefs, but they're both in division.
Yeah, I don't see them being able to do that, or honestly, almost wanting to do it. Maybe Chiefs.
Yeah, but making in division trades, especially with a superstar,
it's so hard. It's nearly impossible. Who could be an interesting trade partner for him is somebody like, I don't know, somebody almost like the Colts or the Giants.
Giants need him. Giants could use him. Another interesting trade partner. The Atlanta Falcons toss out 2 first-round picks over to Las Vegas. They complete that offense.
That's true.
Now you got Drake London.
All of a sudden, Desmond Ridder starts looking really good.
London, he's in his second year, real young. Adams is your mentor, but he's also your superstar, bringing these young guys along.
A little bit more pressure off of Kyle Pitts.
Off Kyle Pitts, off Drake London, off Desmond Ridder, off Bijan Robinson. I mean, that offense could change like that. And
if they want to really see it through with Desmond Ridder, that would be a trade that they should be going after.
I would be picking up the phone just to try.
Yeah.
Hey, what would it take? I mean, you're all in with Desmond Ridder right now. Not all in, but they have a solid team. They can make a run at the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, that would spice some things up this season.
It'd be interesting. It'd definitely change things in the NFC.
Yeah. Overall, we're getting close to midway through the season and starting to hopefully see some trades. We're hearing a little bit more rumors starting to peek around.
Mm-hmm.
See if Denver blows things up. We'll see if any of these other teams that are struggling really start to blow things up, truthfully. And hoping this week is much better game by game than we're expecting, but really excited to see the next couple of weeks with some of these teams. This is a really important stretch for some teams.
It is. I think you're really going to start to see teams separate over the next couple of weeks, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, for sure. And You guys heard it here first. Davante Adams to the Falcons.
Yeah, Davante Adams to the Falcons.
Yeah.
They'll have the number 5 offense in the NFL. Let's do it.
Shoot some trade ideas that you guys have kind of been floating around in the comments as well. And we'll see you guys after all these games and talk about them next week.
See you guys.